Good morning. I'm gonna do a quick video to summarize our unit number 3 from our last class. I'm going to use a data set. Let me just open that up here real quick. It's an Excel file that comes from data.gov. This Excel file includes 4 variables: year, sex, life expectancy in years, and age adjusted death rate. This again is data coming from data.gov and is a simple data set including the life expectancy and the count number of adjusted death rate by year, by gender, and gender 3 categories included, both sexes, female and male. So let me go ahead and bring this into Tableau. I have it here under my desktop, open, and that brings it in. As you can see now, it is included. I'm gonna go up and proceed and start working on this. The idea here is so we can review the concepts of unit number 3 related to aggregation. I kind of briefly discussed the aggregating options that we have for dimensions and those that we have for measures last night. So what is an aggregation? Again, if you look at the glossary of terms at Tableau, it is the result of a mathematical operation applied to a measured normally, but you can also apply this to dimensions. Now, aggregations are extremely powerful when you're analyzing your data. Also, take a look at it that by default, Tableau always aggregates by sum. That is the default, and if you want to perform any sort of different aggregations, you need to change that. Now, all measures in Tableau are always aggregated, okay? By default, all measures are aggregated, as you can as you may have seen. So let's take a look at the data. I'm going to drag life expectancy onto my view. I'm going to drag it into my rows, and now take a look at it. Just by simply looking at this, we're looking at 23,681 life expectancy in years. As you may see here, we're using the default aggregation, which is a sum, and this, of course, is not a good aggregation for this particular exercise. I mean, it is extremely high, and that is a way for us to point out. Now, how about if I just bring year? If I bring year to columns, now you can see that Tableau changes this to a continuous line where I can see the behavior over time of my life expectancy. Now let me point out the low point here, which is 1918. This is real data, folks. 1918, if you do a quick search, we had the deadliest pandemic, then the flu. So let me go ahead and bring gender to increase the level of detail. So you can see here that I have sex. I'm going to just color this illustration with sex. When I do that, Tableau is going to bring my 3 categories, as you can see them here, both sexes, female and male. And I can see the behavior over time by increasing the level of detail by including sex. Now let me point out here the low again. You see the life expectancy here in years is 36.6. Now if I move a little up on blue, you can see that male is right here. Both sexes is 39.10, and if I go all the way up, female 1918 42.2. Now that's the average, right? So let's change this value, guys, to that's the sum. I beg your pardon. Let's take the average, for instance. Now you can see the average now, right? Of course, the values in 1 year are single values. Now you can see that they don't change, right? Single values here. But if I go into median, take a look at that, single values again, right? So we have data points, single data points per year per gender. And that's why you see that these aggregations perhaps might not mean much, or all of them in essence are quite the same. Now, if I was to change this, take the sex out, right? Now you can see that this number right here, 117.9, is the sum of the three sexes as included in this data set. Now I can also perform a different aggregation then, and then I can come up with the average, which is 39.3, and then I can also look at different aggregations, as you can see here. Now, I mentioned to you guys yesterday that you had some average, median, count, and count distinct. And of course, you have maximum and minimum when it comes to aggregations. Now, some of these, again, might not make sense for certain types of calculations or analysis you're doing, so you have to really pay attention to that. I'm going to drag the death rate to columns, and I'm going to drag the life expectancy to rows to see what happens. Now, as you can see, I have here a plot that brings a single point, and of course, because it's summing up all of the adjusted life expectancy in years, 23,681, same as I did previously by just dragging, if you remember. Why? Because I'm using a sum. Now, if you do a different analysis here, and I want to drag sex to this as to increase the level of detail to see what happens, you can see now that I have 3 dots instead of 1. Each of these dots will give you the number of years, summing the number of years, of course, by gender. Now you can see here we have male, both sexes, and female. Now, how do I go about bringing my level of detail better here? So what I like to do is, instead of having a single points like this per year, I'm going to bring the year to detail here in my marks. By doing so, you can see now that a scatter plot has been constructed. Now, it is important that you guys pay attention to this aggregations again. Let me just do average. You can see that my illustration doesn't change. I'm going to use median. I'm going to use count. Now, count, of course, there is a single point per year, so that you're going to see that line going across like that. If I use minimum, same. If I use maximum, you're going to see the exact same image. And the reason why is that there is a single data point per gender per year. So simple as that. Now, by taking the sex out and taking the year out, you can see that that is the aggregation, which really does not give us much. And by increasing the level of detail, which is what we're doing here with granularity, going down in more detail, we should be able to provide a better illustration, a better representation of this data. Again, simple data. Like I mentioned, I'm going to bring sex to color. That brings me 3 points, right? If I bring my year back into detail, then I can create that nice scatter plot. I hope you find this video helpful for what we discussed last night. Thank you.